Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson today. We are listening to Text Me When You Get Home, and this is about Carolina Vargas.
Tragedy has struck a 26-year-old Uber driver named Carolina Vargas. There was this victim who was kidnapped at knife point. Started with Uber. She was in that situation looking for what to do. Siempre estamos hablando de los peligros. Siempre. The offer was for him to pay her outside of Uber, and she said that out of nowhere, he completely changed. A Carol la secuestraron. She was crying, help me, help. I said, look, and he's seeing her on the ground. I said, call 911. 911 was very emergency. The girl's laying in the middle of the road. In my career, I've seen a lot, but what happened is very shocking to the system. It was just like watching a movie. It was just unreal. Life can change forever. A young woman is missing tonight after leaving a bar with a stranger, then texting help to a friend. You are watching her terrifying abduction. A missing woman's new body was discovered in this ravine. Miraculously, the young woman survived. There is an alarming crisis of violence, kidnapping, and murder against innocent women. A senseless murder has struck a chord with thousands of women. This has sparked a global movement online of women sharing their own fears. They're united under the hashtag Text Me When You Get Home, a phrase that women are all too familiar with.
In the spring of 2020, Carolina Vargas is a 26-year-old Costa Rican immigrant living in Nashville, Tennessee.
I've been knowing Carolina since we were little. We're first cousins. We always lived close by and we've been very close. Like I'll consider her my best friend or my other sister. Carolina is my daughter. When I think in Carolina, I think in happiness and in a girl that hungry for the future. She's nice, laughing a lot and play Barbies. She loves the Barbies when she was little. And she growing dreaming that she was a pretty girl. Caro stood out from the rest, probably because of her look. She had like really bright blonde hair, and that was not common where we're from. Ella es todo amor, ella es todo lo expresa con amor. Entonces, eso nos hizo muy unidas. Por eso te digo es que éramos como hermanas. We grew up in Costa Rica in a small town called Buenos Aires, Punta Arenas. You feel safe. You feel like it's okay. Always be aware. But we never felt unsafe growing up.
By 2007, 13-year-old Carolina, her mother, brother, cousins, and other extended family have all settled comfortably in the Nashville area.
I love Nashville over here because it's similar a little bit with my country. And I feel that they can grow over here.
Carolina quickly acclimates and becomes very much like a typical American teenager.
We've always been very just free and just we do kind of like what we want and we would go out here and there.
And like many teens, Carolina is attached to her phone.
We would text every day, maybe just sharing something out of our day and laughing about that or just sending even memes here and there. Nos llamábamos, nos hablábamos, siempre estamos en constante comunicación. I'm not good with technology. I take my time to write a text. My best communication is better call me. If you want some quickly question, you better call me. It was never, okay, bye, or I'll talk to you later. Our conversations were very just left on open, and then we just respond when we respond, and we understood the dynamic.
2019 is a transitional year for 25-year-old Carolina. Her 5-year live-in relationship with her boyfriend ends.
That's when we started like going out and having a good time.
As a young, newly single woman, Carolina is careful of her surroundings when she goes out to clubs.
Yo soy muy nerviosa. Entonces, cuando ella salía, yo siempre le decía, no importa para dónde vayas, pero envíame la ubicación por si pasa un rango de tiempo, uno saber para dónde vas, qué vas a hacer. I would let her know about my whereabouts. She would know sort of my routine. And if it was something new that I was doing, I would let her know for sure. And then later she would let me know, like, hey, Nati, how did it go? And same here. We've had an incident where we went out and two guys, came up to us to talk to us. We were not interested, but it just seemed like they didn't want to leave when we were talking. So we eventually said that we were gonna go dance because it was a Latin place. They were not Hispanic, and so of course they didn't know how to dance, and we wanted to dance, and eventually we just kind of lost them. You definitely get some people that are just very pushy. By the time we left, we noticed that they were outside just waiting for us. So we felt uncomfortable and we just literally felt like, can you leave us alone? But they were following us. Then we found a group of guys that were together, maybe like six guys with two girls. So we asked one of the guys if they could pretend to be with us and walk us to the car, just make sure that those guys were not following us. And so he ended, they eventually left.
Carolina and Natalia drive away from the club, shaken but unharmed.
That was definitely creepy.
Porque era mujer. Entonces, eso pues obviamente como que lo hablamos de los peligros de las mujeres. Ella alguna vez me comentó que tenía como un gas pimienta o que iba a comprar un gas pimienta por si algo pasaba.
In October, Carolina moves in with her brother and sister-in-law to save money while she looks for employment.
Carolina y yo nos hicimos muy unidas, muy amigas en el tiempo que vivimos juntas, aunque antes siempre hemos tenido una muy bonita relación.
She was in that situation looking for what to do. I always thought that she was a model. I told her so many times, hey, you can work as a model. No, mama, not that.
She was looking into getting into sales, some type of sales, but not necessarily work for someone. She always wanted to have her own schedule. So she started working with Uber. It was just convenient for her, the freedom of, the times where she could work.
The rideshare app, Uber, allows Carolina to earn income on her own schedule while pursuing career opportunities.
When you're driving for Uber, you are looking for a good service. And she was a good service. And she provides some water for the customers. And she cleaned the car and she was good doing that.
Almost 100% of Uber rideshare trips are completed safely if done correctly through the Uber app. Still, her family shares some concerns.
We said, stranger danger, please be careful. As a woman, we never turn off the alarms because we are women.
Siempre estamos hablando de los peligros, siempre estamos hablando de todo lo que pasa acá. Porque a mí todo me da miedo, todo me da mucho miedo. Entonces, como que, aunque claro, tienes que tener mucho cuidado y eso.
Always she think about stranger situation, but never we thought that life can change forever.
March 2020, just months after 26-year-old Carolina Vargas starts her new job as an Uber driver. COVID lockdowns bring everything to a crawl, including Uber. Carolina goes without a paycheck for months. She is desperate to pay her brother her portion of the rent, so by May, she is taking whatever right opportunities present themselves.
She needed money. She needed to collect a certain amount to pay rent with her brother. So I knew that she was going to be picking up more shifts for sure.
Sentí tristeza porque o sea, siento que ella lo hizo fue por la necesidad o se sintió presionada tal vez de que necesitaba trabajar o dinero. Entonces, en ese momento es como un choque de sensaciones.
The work with Uber, I can say it's safe. If you follow the instructions, it's safe at any time, day and night.
Her runs will be more throughout the day or sometimes in the afternoon. I would always ask details as far as like, are people awkward? Do you have conversations with them? And she'll say some people are just quiet, some people just, and I want to have a conversation.
On a warm spring day in early May, Carolina spends the hours driving passengers around the Nashville area. Toward the end of the day, she picks up a customer and drives him to a nearby rental car company. But just as Carolina starts to drive off, the man runs back to her car with a proposition. Carolina sends a text to her mother, excitedly explaining that a customer has offered her $300 to take him from the rental car company to Cleveland, Tennessee, more than a 2-hour drive south and near the Georgia border.
He says, hey, okay, if you can help me with this situation, I appreciate it. And she says, hey, I can help you. I'm available.
This trip is not recorded on the Uber app. Later that evening, Carolina returns home with the $300 cash. Carolina's sister-in-law learns that the generous customer was a commercial truck driver, an older man, polite, friendly, whose 18-wheeler had broken down. He had offered to pay Carolina a flat rate outside the Uber app, which she accepted.
Le pregunté cómo le había ido. Entonces ella solo me dijo como, bien, estuvo suave el trabajo.
The man had also proposed that Carolina pick him back up in a couple of days when his truck is repaired so he can retrieve it in Nashville.
She advised him that, well, if you request an Uber, you're not going to get me again, most likely. And so the offer was for him to pay her outside of Uber again.
He will pay her another $300 for the return trip.
She thought, well, I already gave him a ride. She felt comfortable with him. Why not? And so she agreed.
She's a grown-up girl, and she's independent. She was not nervous. She was so happy because she needed to pay some things that she needed to pay.
She felt safe and she needed the money, so she decided to do it when he needed the ride again.
Just be careful with everything. That's it.
2 days pass as Carolina waits for a text to pick up her long-distance customer. That text comes on Thursday, May 7th. The man reportedly tells her his truck will be ready for pickup from the repair shop in Nashville the following day, and that he will text her when he's ready for her to come get him. At 2:32 in the afternoon, security footage at a Hampton Inn hotel in Cleveland, Tennessee, captures Carolina's black SUV picking up a man who has several bags. Just moments later, Carolina texts a photo to her mother. She adds the caption, "This is the guy I'm giving a ride." Exactly 10 minutes after arriving, her SUV with the man inside pulls away.
Estaba lloviznando y cuando yo llegué a la casa, el carro de Caro no estaba. Entonces yo le texté, pero ella no me respondió.
It's rare for Carolina to ignore texts, especially from her family. Adriana is also taken aback for how it looks like Carolina had left in a hurry.
Y el cuarto de ella estaba, o sea, como muy desordenado, o sea, como que Caro salió con prisa.
Carolina's mother, Isabel, meanwhile was unaware that her daughter was not responding to Adriana's texts. Then out of the blue, Isabel gets a call she will never forget.
My phone rang, and I answered the call. I just hear Carolina crying. I couldn't understand what she said. And I said, Carolina, where are you? And she said, Mom, Mom, Mom. But I couldn't hear the voice from her mouth. But from here. And I said, call 911. I said, call 911. And the phone called it. And I said, oh my God.
At 3:48 p.m., a 911 call comes into the Whitfield County 911 Center. The call is unintelligible.
Whitfield County 911, what's the address to your emergency?
At the same time, another 911 call comes in from the same location as the first.
Whitfield County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
My name is Dale Bilbrey, and I am standing here in the middle of Cleveland Highway with a girl that's laying in the middle of the road.
On Friday, May 8th, 2020, 26-year-old Uber driver Carolina Vargas is found lying in a pool of blood in the middle of a highway in northern Georgia. Emergency services are immediately dispatched and she is rushed to a local hospital. She manages to tell police that she had been kidnapped. Horrifically injured, but alive, Carolina records a video message on her phone from her hospital bed.
Emotionally worse than this. It's scary to think, where would I be? I'm trying to stay positive too, but it was so scary.
My name is Carolina Vargas, and I was abducted. In 2020, I was living with my brother. I was applying for jobs and I wasn't getting calls. And I decided, okay, so what do I have? I have a car, I have a driver license, and time. So I needed to make money, and I worked with what I had, and that's how I started working with Uber. It was the end of the day, and I was about to go home, almost end the day. I got a notification to pick up somebody nearby. I accepted it. I drove to the location, and that's when I found this man.
Because her grandfather had recently died, Carolina is especially sensitive to the needs of older people.
I saw an older man, so it was like I had like a spirit in my heart of like when I see older people, like help and do what you can to help. I picked him up. I was taking him to a rental car, Hertz, I think it's called. Yes. It was like maybe a 3 minute drive, not too far from where I picked him up.
Carolina sees that the man's name is Chris. Uber rules forbid giving out the last names of customers.
He was telling me how he had a daughter. He was telling me that he had grandkids. He also told me that he used to be a firefighter and that he was a Christian man, which, to be honest, that made me feel a little bit more comfortable coming from a family of Christianity. I assumed that our values were the same. I was trying to like just listen, to him because I feel like as an Uber you hear a lot of stories.
Carolina drops the man off at the rental car company. then takes a few minutes to update her Uber account. Before she leaves, the man returns and tells her he is unable to rent a car. He asks Carolina if she will take him the 2 hours to Cleveland, Tennessee, suggesting that if they avoid using the Uber app, he can pay her the entire amount directly.
We searched how much a regular Uber would charge to take him there, which Uber keeps a percentage, But we agreed that he was gonna pay me that amount. We agreed on 300.
They also agree that, for another $300, she will pick him up in a few days and give him a ride back to Nashville whenever his truck is ready.
Number one, I needed the money. I really was in need of paying my rent, paying my bills. I did feel comfortable to provide that ride for him.
A little over 2 hours later, they arrive at their destination, a Hampton Inn hotel.
He paid me cash, 300, when I dropped him off.
The transaction is completed without incident.
He asked me for my number, and I said, sure, yeah, here's my number. That way we can text. Nothing suspicious or weird for me to feel unsafe.
Over the next few days, Carolina waits for a text from her lucrative new customer.
Thursday, he texted me, tomorrow my truck is going to be ready. And I told him, okay, great. What time do you want me to pick you up? And he said, what time can you? And I told him around like 12, 1, and he said that works. That was it. May 8th, I woke up. I took a shower. I did a bun on my hair. I normally do it up here, but for some reason I did a bun back here, very tight, and I picked the thickest. I don't know, but I picked the thickest sweatpants I had. Nobody was expecting me home. I'm assuming if I would not came home at all, let's say later that night, maybe my brother would have been like, "Hey, where is she?" But like he wasn't expecting me home like at 7 or 8 o'clock in a specific time. No, but it wasn't common for me not to come home either.
It is raining off and on as Carolina makes the 2-hour drive from Nashville to Cleveland, Tennessee. Again, Carolina is instructed to pick the man up at the Hampton Inn.
When I picked him up, he got 3 bags. He put 2 on the back of my car and 1 handbag he had, and he carried it with him next to him. He put it. He said, "Hey, can you give me a minute? I want to smoke a cigarette." So yeah, go ahead. And he smoked the cigarette. That's when I took a picture. I sent the picture to my mom to show her, "Hey, look, this is the guy I'm giving a ride," almost to be like, "This is the guy that's blessing my life," kind of. That was my feeling when I took the picture. I honestly was thinking like this is such a blessing. This ride is such a blessing because I'm gonna be able to pay for the rent, pay for my bills, catch up. I was driving. It was raining a little bit and it was traffic. I assumed there was an accident or something. He said, I know a way that we can maybe cut that traffic a little bit and save some time. And I told him, oh, okay.
Carolina follows his directions. They turn off the main road.
He was telling me how He didn't have an easy childhood, and I was just listening to him, not saying much about it. I don't remember when we got on this highway, but I saw that my phone, because my phone was hanging from the dashboard, and it was connected to the charger, and I noticed I had the GPS on to Nashville, Tennessee, and I noticed that it was adding time. And I told him, I was like, it looks like it's adding more time. And he was like, oh yeah, but we're about to like cut into it. And I was like, oh, okay, okay. And but I was like I felt something in my heart, and we were quiet driving, but I still didn't feel fear. And I don't know if he sensed it or not, but that's when out of nowhere he got close to here and he pulled a knife out and he put it to my rib. And I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, why are you doing this? And that's when he put the knife on my neck. He was like, just keep driving.
26-year-old Uber driver Carolina Vargas has agreed to drive a customer over 2 hours from Cleveland, Tennessee back to Nashville. But shortly after the ride begins, the man pulls out a knife and puts it to her throat.
And he was like, just keep driving. I'm gonna tell you where to turn. And I was like, but why are you doing this? I thought you were Christian. And he was like, just keep driving. Don't slow down. Don't speed up. Just keep driving. And I started looking through the mirrors. And that's when I saw the mirror here. And I saw his face. And I don't know why his face completely changed to me. He looked so like evil. A lot of thoughts were going through my head. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to wreck. I'm gonna have to hit another car because, like, I'm gonna have to. So when I look at the mirrors, no cars were coming down that way, like my way. And I was thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna have to get a car facing front. I have a seatbelt, he doesn't have a seatbelt. I was thinking, but what about the other people? And I was just thinking so many things in my head, so many, what am I gonna do? And I even thought about like fighting with for the knife or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, no, I'm gonna have to jump. In my head, I was like, I'm gonna have to jump. And he, in that moment, he asked me for my phone. He said, give me your phone. And that's when I had my seatbelt on. I unhooked my seatbelt. I grabbed my phone. I unplugged it. And in that second, I jumped out of the car.
At the moment Carolina jumps, her car is estimated to be traveling at nearly 60 miles per hour. Almost immediately, her left leg is run over by the rear tire. Her head, face, back, and limbs all strike the concrete road surface as her body tumbles rapidly, decelerating for an estimated 80 feet.
It was like a slow motion scene, and I passed out. I don't know how long I was laying there. I know that I woke up and I remember feeling the concrete of the street, and it was so wet. I was like, oh my god, this is real here. Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. But I looked around and I was like, oh my god, where am I? I don't even know where I am.
Miraculously, Carolina has jumped from the car, still holding her phone. Her abductor and vehicle are nowhere to be found.
I don't have my phone, and the first thing I did was call my mom.
My phone rang and I answered the call. I just hear Carolina crying. And I couldn't understand what she said. I don't even know. I couldn't even talk. And I said, Carolina, where are you? And she said, Mom, Mom, Mom. And my mom told me to call 911, and I hung up on her and I called 911.
Right, go tell me 911. What's the address to emergency?
The words wouldn't come out. And I was waving my hands just so people could like stop for me, but nobody was stopping.
I said, look, and he fell on the ground. And we stopped in the road. We didn't even pull over or nothing. We just stopped. And he gets out and he runs over to her. And she's disoriented, panicky, and scared.
Skin up face, broke teeth. Her pants was tore from her hip all the way down. No shoes on. She was soaking wet and just crying. Help me, help me.
My name is Dale Bilbrey, and I am standing here in the middle of Cleveland Highway with a girl that was laying in the middle of the road, like she was thrown out of a car or something.
I guess my mother instinct just kicked in and started getting her calmed down and to relax. When she was telling me what had happened, I couldn't believe it. I just kept telling her, you're safe.
She had to reassure her that nothing was going to happen. Nothing is going to happen.
Within minutes, fire, police, and rescue units arrive on the scene.
In my career, I've seen a lot, but the extent of her injuries and what had happened was very shocking. She was all bloodied. Her teeth were missing. She had been ran over on her legs. Just a traumatic scene, but she was very coherent. She told me exactly what had happened. She had his information.
Carolina gives authorities as much information as she can. She believes her abductor fled the scene with her vehicle. She has her phone, but her purse is still inside the car. She is then taken to a local hospital.
I credit Miss Vargas not only for keeping her composure, but she also had the wherewithal to grab her phone. She had photographs of the offender on the phone.
I mean, it was overwhelming to think that this girl was that close to death.
Jumping out of the car, it takes somebody very brave to do something like that.
Despite being run over by her own SUV, Carolina doesn't break any bones, but the damage to her body is extensive. In addition to blunt force trauma and deep lacerations and abrasions that cover her from head to toe, she suffers a blood clot in the brain as a result of a head injury.
The blood clog that I had on the brain, thank God it got smaller.
So in addition to some major damage on her leg and some internal bleeding that happened as a result of the incident, Carolina's mouth was also severely damaged. She was missing, I would say, at least 3 teeth, and there were also fragments of her teeth stuck in her gums. Extremely painful.
At the hospital, Carolina is reunited with her mother.
When I saw Carolina, it was kind of the first time when she born. I told her, you fight for your life, and I appreciate that. Thank you for jump out. Thank you. Because what you did is now we can be talking.
I was so happy to see her. We hugged and it was like we're seeing each other again and like a new beginning, it felt like it. Yeah.
Verle la cara a ella era algo sorprendente. Entonces, solo nos dimos un abrazo. Y ella me dijo que me quería mucho. Y yo le dije que ella sabía que era como mi hermana, que ella no lo podía creer que ella estuviera ahí con nosotros. Ese abrazo fue como cuando tú esperas a alguien tanto tiempo y se demora en llegar y llega.
But despite a joyful reunion, Carolina knows her captor is still on the loose.
I was in the bed feeling so fearful that he had my wallet, my address. So my fear was like, this guy might go look for me and hurt my sisters, hurt my mom. I could not live with that, you know?
As Carolina recovers in the hospital, investigators with the Cohata, Georgia Police Department search for her abductor.
This is very, very unheard of in our town, and it was a shock to us all when it did happen.
Authorities have Carolina's photo of her abductor and the cell number he was texting her from. She did not know his name, so investigators go back to the Hampton Inn in Cleveland, Tennessee, where she picked him up earlier that day.
Went up there, showed the photo to the front desk clerk. Within just minutes, we had his driver's license information, full profile, because that's what you have to check into a hotel, and we knew who we were dealing with.
The man's name is Christopher Miller. He's a commercial truck driver who lives minutes from the hotel.
His home address and his hotel were just minutes apart. Why was he at a hotel when he could have been at home? We still don't know.
Police go to Christopher Miller's house, but he is not home and no one knows where he is. So they decide to use the media to help locate him.
Police tell us Christopher Miller is the suspect in this case. It's not every day that you see a headline of a woman having to bail out of her moving vehicle. I mean, it's unthinkable, so it makes total sense that it captured the attention of people outside of the area.
Meanwhile, Carolina Vargas is terrified that her abductor has her personal information.
I was in a lot of fear, thinking he had the exact location of the people I love the most.
As Carolina's story goes viral, investigators receive Christopher Miller's phone records and are able to track him using the GPS on his cell phone.
Once he dropped the victim's car, Miss Vargas's car, off at the Target shopping center, he went and got provisions, a vehicle, firearms, and ammunition, and got his belongings and started south. From my understanding, he knew the area. It was part of his driver route, and so it was a familiar territory to him. Where he was going, we just know that that's where he got traced to.
Investigators trace Christopher Miller's cell phone location south to Florida. 72 hours after he abducted Carolina, he is located at a truck stop outside Jacksonville, Florida.
Got a warrant for your arrest. Aggravated assault, kidnapping, and carjacking.
Where the local sheriff's office arrests him.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to an attorney before we ask you any questions and to have an attorney present during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you at no cost before any question begins. You understand those rights?
The charges first brought against Christopher Miller was theft of a motor vehicle, kidnapping, hijacking of a motor vehicle, false imprisonment, and use of a knife during the commission of a felony. All felony charges.
While still recovering, Carolina receives news that her abductor is in custody.
A lot of dark thoughts come to my mind. To be honest, I feel like maybe he just wanted me like a dog in his truck. Just to have me there, give me whatever food so I don't die, rape me when he wanted, maybe kill me. That's what I think maybe his plan was.
We don't know what Mr. Miller's motive was. Once he was arrested, he did not want to talk. He lawyered up. We never really got the true explanation as to why he did what he did. So we don't know what the end result was going to be, but we do know that regardless, it wasn't going to be good.
When I saw Kata again, it was a relief. Of course, I hugged her and, I told her that I was happy to see her. I was happy that she's alive. Thankfully, she got a dentist that wanted to offer to help her with her teeth. So that was a good thing. Yeah.
While awaiting trial for abducting Carolina, Christopher Miller stops taking his heart medicine. He dies in jail.
In the moment, I don't know why, I felt like, in a way, a little sad. I know he has a family, I know that maybe his family didn't think he was capable of all of this, but I felt more anger because I feel like he got the easy way out. And I wanted that closure. I wanted to be able to testify in front of him and hear from a judge his punishment. And I didn't get to hear it. This whole thing, it changed my life completely.
Now I see Carolina. When I see her, she is so strong, and she is good.
Yo la creí mi heroína. Y siempre se lo he dicho, Caro, tú eres nuestra heroína. Tú eres la mujer, o sea, más valiente del mundo. We're thankful that Carolina is here and that she's safe, but it could have been a completely different story.
The main thing is she's here and she got away. Carlene was one of the lucky ones. Some people's not that lucky.
2 words: fighter and survivor. That's Carolina Vargas.
Today, um, I am working for myself with my dad. I work in the construction. Physically, I'm in the gym. I want to feel stronger. I want to feel proud of me. And I am proud of me, but I am for sure more aware because I've taken this as lesson to grow and to be a better Carolina for sure. Yeah.